Welcome to Easy English Talks podcast.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Easy English Talks podcast. Today's lesson is special because we are going to practice with the shadowing method. That means you listen and speak along with me. This is an easy and simple lesson that will help you improve your English step by step. I encourage you to watch until the end, repeat the important parts, and don't be shy to speak out loud. The more you repeat, the faster you will improve. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next lessons. Let's begin. Daily practice habit number 1. Read a little every day. Hello, my friends. Let me ask you a question. You have a phone but never charge it. Will it work? No, the battery will die. Your English needs the daily charge of practice. Learning English is the same. If you only study one day in a month, you will forget everything. But if you make English a part of your daily life, you will improve fast. Today I will share 7 daily habits that can change your English forever. These habits are simple. You don't need expensive books. You don't need big classes. You just need your phone a little time every day and motivation. Habit number 1, read a little every day. Reading helps you see how words are used. You don't need to read big books. Start small. Read short stories, news, or social media posts in English. Read one page of a story before sleeping. Read English subtitles when watching a video tip. Keep a notebook and write new words you find. Why reading is important. Reading improves your vocabulary. If you learn new words, reading improves your grammar naturally. You see how sentences are made. When you read, you don't just learn one word. You learn the word in a sentence so you know how to use it. Habit number 2. Listen to English daily. Listening is the first step to understanding English naturally. Babies learn their first language by listening, and you can too. Listening trains your ear to understand real English. Even if you don't understand everything your brain is learning, listen to a podcast while cooking. Play English songs and follow the lyrics. Tip: choose topics you enjoy. Learning becomes fun. Why listening is important, improves understanding. You can catch words and phrases faster. It helps with pronunciation. You hear how words are really spoken. It teaches natural English. You learn how people actually talk, not just textbook English. Even if you do and understand everything, your brain is working. Over time, you will understand more and more. Habit 3. Speak even if you make mistakes. Speaking is like exercise for your mouth and brain. The more you speak, the stronger your English muscles become. If you wait until your English is perfect before speaking, you will never start. Many learners are shy, but remember, mistakes are proof you are learning. Talk to yourself in English while doing chores. Speak with a friend or language partner. Online tip: don't worry about grammar in the beginning. Focus on communicating. Why speaking is important. Builds confidence. The more you speak, the less shy you feel. Improves fluency. You start thinking faster, and English shows you your weak points. Mistakes tell you what you need to work on. Remember, mistakes are not failure. They are proof you are learning. Habit 4. Write something every day. Writing is like a mirror for your English. It shows you exactly what you know and what you don't. When you write, you slow down and think about words, grammar, and sentence order. The more you write, the more confident you will be in using English. Writing helps you remember new words and practice sentence structure. Write 3 sentences about your day. Post in English on Facebook or Instagram. Tip: use simple words first. Later try to make longer sentences. Why writing is important: improves grammar. You practice putting words in the right order, helps you remember vocabulary. Writing uses your memory in a deeper way, organizes your thoughts. You learn to express ideas clearly. Vocabulary. Building habit 5. Learn 5 new words daily. Words are the building blocks of English. Without words, you cannot make sentences. The more words you know, the more ideas you can express. But here is the secret: it is better to learn a few words every day than to try to remember 50 words at once and forget them. Vocabulary is the building block of English. But do and try to learn 50 words at once, you will forget. Learn 5 words today and use them in sentences. Review them before sleeping. Tip: repetition is the key. Keep using the words. Why learning vocabulary daily is important. Improves communication. More words mean more ways to express yourself. Makes reading and listening easier. You understand more without stopping. Builds confidence. You can join more conversations without feeling lost. Language skills habit 6. Think in English. This is powerful. If you think in your own language first, then translate, you will be slow. But if you think directly in English, it will be faster and more natural. When you see a cup, think cup, not the word in your own language. Plan your day in English in your mind. Why thinking in English is important. Increases speed. No more stopping to translate in your head. Improves fluency. You start speaking smoothly without long pauses. Makes English feel natural. You use English as a normal part of life, not just in study time. Consistent effort habit 7. Be consistent. Small actions every day are better than big actions once a week. Even 15 minutes a day is enough if you do it every day. Study every morning after breakfast. Listen to English every night before sleep. Why consistency is important: builds a routine. English becomes part of your daily life. Keeps your brain active. Remember more when you practice. Often gives faster results. Regular practice improves all skills together. Tip: make English part of your lifestyle, like brushing your teeth. Remember, English is not a race. It's a journey. With these 7 habits, you will grow step by step. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start today, and one day you will speak English with confidence. Story: a cup of English every day. There was a young man named Omar who dreamed of speaking English fluently. Every day he imagined himself talking confidently with people from around the world, but in reality his English was weak. He studied once a month, sometimes once every 2 months, and each time he forgot everything he had learned. One day his uncle gave him an empty cup and said, "If you pour a little water into this cup every day, after a while it will be full. But if you wait and pour a lot of water only once a month, the cup will stay empty." Learning English is the same. Omar thought about this. He realized he needed small daily actions instead of big, rare study sessions. So he began to change his routine. Day 1. He read 1 short story before bed. He discovered new words and wrote them in his notebook. Day 2. He listened to an English song while cooking, repeating the lyrics. Day 3. He spoke to himself in the mirror, even making funny mistakes and laughing at them. Day 4. He wrote a small post in English on Facebook. His friends liked it and asked questions. Day 5. He learned 5 new words and used them to make sentences about his life. Day 6. He started thinking in English when walking in the park, naming everything he saw. Day 7. He promised himself to practice a little every day, like brushing his teeth. Weeks passed. Omar noticed something magical. He understood more, spoke faster, and felt more confident. People around him started to say, "Wow, Omar, your English is improving so quickly. What's your secret?" He smiled and held up the same empty cup his uncle gave him. "My secret, I filled this cup every single day with English." And from that day on, Omar knew the truth. Fluency is not about studying a lot at once. It's about giving your English a little love every day. Have you ever tried to learn a new language or a new skill? How did you do it? Did you study hard for a few days or weeks and then stop? Or maybe you practiced a little bit every day? In today's video, I want to talk about why learning a little bit every day is better than studying a lot all at once. And I'm going to use a story about a man called Omar to help me explain this idea. This story comes from a book of English tales by Matt May. As I was preparing for this video, I was thinking about how I could make it interesting and useful for you. I brainstormed a lot of ideas and finally decided to share my personal experiences with learning languages. When I was at university, I majored in English language and literature. We spent a lot of time reading books and writing essays. However, I still struggled with my English, especially with grammar. Even after 4 years of studying, I still made many mistakes. I remember that when I was doing my master's degree, there was a course called academic writing. In this course, we were taught by a native speaker from America. At first, I couldn't understand her because she spoke very fast. Furthermore, she used a lot of phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions that I hadn't learned. One day during class, I raised my hand and told her that I found it difficult to understand her. Then she gave me some advice that changed my life. She said, "Practice a little bit every day." Before this moment, I had always studied a lot all at once. For example, before a test, I would spend several days and nights studying. But after I heard this advice, I started to study a little bit every day. I didn't realize it at first, but this advice helped me improve my English. Now let's get back to our story. Omar loved to imagine himself speaking English confidently, but he didn't take any action. Instead, he studied a lot all at once. For example, once every 2 months, he would buy a new English textbook and study it for 3 or 4 hours. After finishing the book, he felt proud of himself and thought, "Well, now I know everything in this book," but soon he would forget everything and start buying new textbooks again. One day, Omar's uncle, who was a doctor, came to visit him. While they were drinking tea together, Omar talked about his dream of becoming fluent in English. He also mentioned that he had bought 6 English textbooks, but he couldn't speak English well. His uncle listened patiently and then gave him an empty cup. "If you pour a little water into this cup every day, after a while it will be full. But if you wait and pour a lot of water only once a month, the cup will stay empty." Learning English is the same. Omar thought about what his uncle said. He realized he needed to make small daily actions instead of big, rare study sessions. The next day, he started to follow his uncle's advice. On day 1, he read 1 short story before bed. When he found new words, he wrote them in his notebook. On day 2, he listened to an English song while cooking and repeated the lyrics. On day 3, he spoke to himself in the mirror. Even when he made funny mistakes, he laughed at himself. On day 4, he wrote a small post in English on Facebook. His friends liked it and asked him questions. On day 5, he learned 5 new words and used them to make sentences about his life. On day 6, he started thinking in English when walking in the park. He named everything he saw. On day 7, he promised himself to practice a little every day, like brushing his teeth. After a few weeks, Omar noticed something magical. He understood more, spoke faster, and felt more confident. People around him started to say, "Wow, Omar, your English is improving so quickly. What's your secret?" He smiled and held up the same empty cup his uncle gave him. "My secret? I fill this cup every single day with English." From that day on, Omar knew the truth. Fluency is not about studying a lot at once. It's about giving your English a little love every day. I think the main message of this story is that small, consistent actions are more effective than big one-off actions. In other words, it's better to practice a little bit every day than to study a lot all at once. If you want to become fluent in English, you don't need to study 10 hours a day. You just need to study 1 hour a day consistently. When I was a beginner, I tried to memorize a lot of words and grammar rules. However, I couldn't remember them for long. As I gained experience, I realized that it's more important to practice using English rather than memorizing rules and words. When you practice using English, you learn new things naturally and can use them in different situations. Let me tell you about my experience learning Japanese. I started learning Japanese in 2018. At first, I focused on vocabulary and grammar. I used to study for 2 to 3 hours every day. However, I couldn't use the words and grammar rules in conversations. In 2019, I moved to Japan and started taking a conversation class. The teacher in this class encouraged me to speak Japanese as much as possible. She didn't care if I made mistakes. She said, "It's okay to make mistakes. Just keep talking." Thanks to this class, I improved my conversational skills. Now I can understand Japanese people and communicate with them in Japanese. So remember, it's important to practice using the language. Don't worry about making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they learn a new language. It's normal. The important thing is to keep practicing. The second message of the story is that everyone can become fluent in English. It doesn't matter if you are a child or an adult, if you come from a poor family or a rich family, if you live in the countryside or a big city. All that matters is your attitude and effort. Omar wanted to become fluent in English. He didn't let his excuses stop him. Instead, he took action. I have many students who want to become fluent in English, but they give up easily when I ask them why they want to quit. They usually say, "I don't have enough time," or "I'm too busy." I understand that they may be busy, but I also think that they don't really want to become fluent. Otherwise, they wouldn't find excuses. Remember, if you want to achieve something, you have to work for it. As you have already understood, the story has a happy ending. Omar became fluent in English. In the end of the video, I want to tell you that I have another video called "Why Learning a Second Language is Good for You." This video, I talk about the benefits of learning a second language. If you are interested, you can watch it after this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share it if you want. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.